My name is Dr. David Camp. I'm with Americans Listen. Americans Listen is a project that's designed to get hundreds or maybe even thousands of Americans who do not support Donald Trump to have a one-on-one or maybe small group encounter with people who are supporting Donald Trump. Part of the issue is that many people who don't like Donald Trump don't know anybody who does like Donald Trump. They're subject to having all sorts of misconceptions and stereotypes about those folks. We need to understand, as a nation, to move forward together, we need to understand what was going on with these folks. Because no matter what happens in the election, Mr. Trump has stimulated something very important, a movement that has challenged the traditional Republican Party as well as the Democratic Party. At this phase, I'm trying to get people who are good listeners, or think of themselves as good listeners, and who know that their job is not to fight, is not to combat, is not to oppose, is not to try to needle the Trump supporter, but just to listen, but reflect upon why it's hard to do that. After people do the interviews, there'll be a debrief, which will happen either in person in places where there'll be a lot of participants in Americans Listen, or perhaps through Skype, where people can have a chance to reflect collectively about what they heard and how they felt. And that debrief is very important to try to make sense out of the process. There is a challenge in reaching out to Trump supporters. There's something called racial anxiety, which is the anxiety that people feel when they think they're viewed through a racial lens, either viewed as a racial less than or viewed as a racist. So in order to control racial anxiety and make that less of a part of the examination of these questions, then we're encouraging people to talk to people of the same racial group. People have done it so far and they've had positive experiences. And they have found that the process of telling people that you want to hear from them about their views, there's a distrust that happens. So they have to work a little hard to make the person feel like, no, this is not a trick. I'm not trying to change you. After they kind of relax in that and are told, reminded that I'm just here to listen to you, I'm not here to fight, then people are able to begin to express their opinion in a way that is unfettered. Once this particular election season process of Americans Listen ends, we're going to have a lot of information about the nature of Trump support and Trump supporters' beliefs. The goal is to spend a lot of time analyzing that information myself, and I'm looking for a university partner who might want to house this information and help me code it and to make sense of it, to turn the data into real information. Listening is a critical leadership skill, and I think there's an increasing recognition of that in the civic engagement work, in the service learning sector, in the leadership training sector. There's an increasing recognition that dialogue is important, and a core part of dialogue is listening. There's increasing recognition that groups have genius within them, and part of what a leader has to do is to extract that genius, and that listening is critical. So one of the hopes for the project is that we can connect to campus groups that are trying to teach service learning, or leadership groups that are trying to teach people how to be better managers, profit or nonprofit, and to not only encourage their participation as an exercise in stretching people's listening skills, but then to create wisdom and useful products that can help people in the future become better listeners. Our goal is to get a fair amount of interviews done before the election, but we're going through the inauguration and perhaps afterward. So obviously things will be different then. There'll be more of a spirit of how we move forward no matter who wins. But we're trying to do as many interviews as possible or listening sessions before the election, but still some through the election season. But it's easy to participate. Just contact us through the website.